Friday, TGIF edition of the show, the hottest show on the streets, talking your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Happy to have all of you guys here on today, like we do every time. We bring you the show from the magic city of Birmingham. We stream this to you through YouTube. Speaking of the channel, hit that subscribe button. Tap subscribe right now. Stop what you're doing. Get every friend, every family member, every diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, just people that can't get enough of that Tide to subscribe right here to the channel, because if you love the content, they will also. Don't forget to like the show. Tap that like button. Give us a thumbs up right there. Run those likes past the moon here. We appreciate your support. Trying to get this 50 likes early on, starting the show. All donations welcome and appreciated. That daily super chat go $100. Daily super chat go $100 right there. We appreciate everybody making this their area to talk Bama football. I got shot, my man, Big Bill, already getting it started. Bill from New York with that $6 donation. Throwing that in the pot right there. We got Dancing Steven back in the building. Doing this thing with the khaki pants, blue shirt. Doing this thing there. Dancing Steven right there. But also, continue to hit that notification bell so you miss nothing when it comes down to being updated on your Crimson Tide. We got a great one this evening. We want to hear from you, 205-448-1358. Number to call in. Let your voice be made known on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. But, you know, let's get to the conversation right here. And what's crazy is we're already starting to see, and spring practice hasn't happened yet. That happens March 20th. Fall camp hasn't happened. Nothing has really happened. But yet we're already starting to see some trash talk take place in one of the games that Alabama will have in the upcoming fall. That game is against the University of Texas. The Texas Longhorns, who will travel to Tuscaloosa, Bryant-Denny, to take on the Tide on September 9th of this season. And the trash talk that's happening comes from one of the biggest or the biggest higher up in the state of Texas, that being the governor. Governor of Texas, Governor Greg Abbott, thought today would be the day to take a shot at Alabama quarterback and native Texan Jalen Milroe. So, in a report that came out today, Mr. Abbott talked about last year's matchup between Alabama and Texas. And he said, we were running all over them. Our quarterback was dominating Alabama. Our quarterback was destroying Alabama. We were just having our way, with them. And then they just had this Bryce Young guy just make big play after big play, especially the drive at the end where, he set them up with the game-winning field goal and they won the game. But I know what's expected to be at quarterback for Alabama next season, and it ain't no Bryce Young there. So the fact that it ain't no Bryce Young at Alabama this time around, Texas will beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa 27-21. This comes from Mr. Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas. And saying that, I know that Alabama's got a quarterback, and it ain't no Bryce Young. Unnecessary shot there to one Jalen Milroe, who once again, a native Texan, hails from Katy, Texas. Plays high school football, Tompkins High School. Former four-star in the 2021 signing class. We already know Milroe athletic as all get out, but he's got a chance to prove a lot of people wrong about him this upcoming season. A lot of people say, Milroe is not the passer. He doesn't have the passing mechanics. He doesn't have the ability to distribute the football with accuracy, with timing, with ball placement. Milroe's just not the complete quarterback that Alabama needs right now. He's just not it. Great athlete, but maybe he should change positions. Be a running back. Be a tight end. be a linebacker, be a safety. You're just not the quarterback. This is what Milroe getting hit with from quite a few people. And Tommy Rees, who's the offensive coordinator for Alabama, replacing Bill O'Brien, he's got the opportunity to help Milroe prove a lot of people wrong. It's Tommy Rees' system, a lot of double tight end sets. You run the football, a lot of play action, get receivers open. Tommy Rees develops quarterbacks. Developed Brandon Winbush in Notre Dame. Developed Ian Book in Notre Dame. Put Ian Book in the NFL. Developed Jack Cohn, a transfer from Indiana to Notre Dame. Developed Drew Pine last year. Tommy Rees develops quarterbacks. And Jalen Milroe, far more talented than the quarterbacks Rees had at Notre Dame. So he's here. He's got a shot to help Jalen Milroe prove a lot of people wrong when it comes down to him being a complete quarterback. And let's just take this into account also. Jalen Milroe is in very good company right now in terms of doubted quarterbacks in Alabama. We all remember Blake Sims. Nobody thought in their wildest dreams Blake Sims would be the starting quarterback in 2014. I mean, everybody thought when A.J. McCarron graduated on, it was, no, it's not Sims. No, it's Coker. Jacob Coker, 6'5", 230 plus. There's no way that Blake Sims is the quarterback. He had a horrible A-Day game. No way on God's earth Blake Sims is going to be the quarterback. Heck no. There's no way. Blake Sims, doubt it, becomes the quarterback. Lane Kiffin believes in him. Got him to prove everybody wrong. Blake Sims in one season, 3,487 passing yards. Held a single season record that year. Blake Sims, 35 total touchdowns, single season school record. But early on, nobody thought Blake Sims could do it. Nobody thought that. Jalen Hurts, remember 2016, Jalen Hurts, Nick Saban will never start a true freshman quarterback. It'll never happen. He won't do it. That's not Bama. Nick is not going to play no Jalen Hurts. Ain't no way that's going to happen. Jalen Hurts, doubt it. Jalen Hurts, nobody thought Saban would ever pull it. What happened? Goes out there, season opener against Southern California, totals 4 touchdowns, and the rest history. Jalen Hurts took Alabama, SEC championship as a freshman, berth in the college football playoff national title game against Clemson, and if the defense gets 1 3-and-out of Deshaun Watson, Jalen Hurts would have been the first true freshman quarterback since Jamel Holloway, 1985 of the Oklahoma Sooners, to take his team to the national championship and win it as a freshman. So Jalen Milroe's in good company. People thought Blake Sims couldn't do it. He did it. People thought Jalen Hurts could not do it. He did it. Here's Jalen Milroe in this same spot. Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, he ain't no Bryce Young. Here we go. Week 2 of the season in the fall. Texas comes down for Tuscaloosa. Jalen Milroe becomes the starter. He's got a chance. The first person he can prove wrong, that governor of Texas, will be the first person to have a chance there to prove wrong. But we take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial, folks. We're just getting started on a Friday. When we come back, we grab your calls. We get your thoughts, your conversations. Free for all Friday. Bama men's basketball just beat Mississippi State in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament. But light us up. We get to you after this.
Nine players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, it's Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Back and rocking and rolling in here from the break. Hottest show on the streets. We're talking Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got the man Eli Walker in the production studio. Continue hitting that like button, tap and subscribe, throwing in those donations, making this your place here for all things Crimson Tide. Going to the phone lines right now to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. 205-448-1358. Number to call in. Let your voice be heard. 205-448-1358. We go to our first call right now. You are live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen, we had pure dominance today. Pure dominance on the basketball court. What do you think about that basketball game?
Man, Waylon, proud of Javon Quinterly. I mean, when it comes to March, Javon Quinterly puts on a cape or something, because I understand he's the co-sixth man of the year for the SEC. But when it gets to March, Quinterly puts on his cape. Brandon Miller's continuing to play well. I mean, all the guys. I mean, Bediako in the post is playing big ball. You know, Mark Sears as a point guard does what he's supposed to do. This team, it's everybody. Anybody can beat you on any given performance, but when they all come together under Nate Oates, it's just something special. And today, the three ball wasn't falling early on. They didn't panic. They put the ball on the floor. They drove. They attacked the basket, played great defense. The three-point shot started falling late, but a good win to start the tournament.
Exactly. Yep. When the three don't fall, you got to put the ball on the court and go to the rim. That's just the way it is. You got to do it. Tall as they are, they can do it. But we got Missouri tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Are you ready for that? I think
Mizzou. I thought Tennessee would take Mizzou. I thought Tennessee would take them, but you got Missouri, another scrappy program right there. But if Bama comes out hair on fire, it should handle Missouri.
Yeah, they should handle them. Alabama needs this tournament win, like I said, the other night, Wednesday night. They need it to boost them on into the NCAA tournament. But anyway, Greg Abbott of Texas. Oh, my aching back. Anyway, all right, y'all be safe tonight. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll meet back on Monday. Good old Willie. Maybe I have the SEC tournament championship trophy here. I don't know. Root them on. We love all y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate President Waylon calling into the show. And it's interesting here, Eli. It's, Joe Lenardi, the bracketologist for ESPN for the NCAA tournament, he's saying, just the last number one seed is it going to Kansas or Alabama? So Joey Brackets is already having some difficulty there. We'll see Crimson Tide take on Missouri tomorrow. Can they continue into that championship game and winning the SEC tournament title? But we grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
It's Chris with Ballard Sports Media calling from Coleman. What's up, Stephen? Roll Tide.
Doing great, Chris. I mean, Bama got the win there over Mississippi State. We'll take on Missouri next. And you got Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, saying, hey, I mean, they got Jalen Milroe. He ain't no Bryce Young, though. So Texas should handle Alabama. He may not be Bryce Young, but he don't have to be. As long as he's a bit better as a passer, hey, still got a chance to tear up Texas. And then it's Alabama defense next season with the pieces Coach Saban trying to put together behind the scenes here. Texas, don't be talking just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did see those comments, and I heard what Governor Abbott had to say. Hey, to talk college football, man, leave it to the I mean, let Jalen Milroe have his chance in the spring on the football field. We got A-Day around the corner. I think he can win the job. I've been saying, I think he's going to win the job. I think it's going to be a Mac Jones situation for him where he's been on the roster a year or so, and he just has to go out there, do his thing. I know I got so much respect for him, too. I understand he's a big Christian, just like I am, big believer. He's got a lot of faith. He's got a lot of good heart and character, and I think he's got everything Nick Saban's looking for. So just let him go out there, go play the game, and we'll see it on the field.
Oh, absolutely. And this is somebody, Chris, that Nick Saban greatly respects. We saw him get the opportunity last year against Texas A&M in replacement of Bryce Young, and people will point to the 2 turnovers that, Milroe, or the 3 turnovers that Milroe had, but he did toss 3 touchdown passes. He did do that, and at the end of the day, he was in line there for the win, which he got against A&M. And it was a situation where it was a stressful game, a lot of hype went into that game, a lot of stress there, but he handled it well. He handled the moment the best way he could. So now you give him a full offseason to work with the passing mechanics. You give him a brand new offensive coordinator who knows how to develop quarterbacks. You're going to give him an offensive line with a whole bunch of beef up front. And now you're going to give him a receiver room where Bama may have the number 1 receiver breakout this year that it didn't have last year.
Absolutely. There's a lot to look forward to. Also wanted to point out, I'm not sure if you covered this, but how about the Panthers, man? Traded up, number 1, possibly going to go after Bryce Young. If not, then I don't know why they're trading. But, it's funny. I'm actually a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, so that's one of my rivals. But Bryce, no matter where he ends up, you know what's up, man.
He knows, and Chris, I guess the weird thing is, I got a good friend of mine who is a Carolina Panthers fan, diehard Panthers fan. I think his family's got season tickets. So I was talking to him today. And I'm like, bro, are y'all gonna get Bryce? I mean, you gave up the cow, the chicken, the goat, and the deer. Are y'all gonna get Bryce? I mean, you gave up 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore. I mean, is this Bryce here? And he literally goes, Steven, I hope it's Bryce, but I'll keep it 100 with you. I think Carolina made all of this commotion to get C.J. Stroud. I'm like, really? You make all of that commotion for C.J. Stroud? And my buddy's like, I think that's the pick, man. With Frank Wright over there, I think that's the pick. I think Carolina has seriously fallen in love with C.J. Stroud. I'm like, oh, man, come on. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for taking my call, man. And I also will say we're just about a month away from A-Day. I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to see what this team has this year. Roll Tide.
Absolutely. My man Chris, Ballard Sports Media, coming to the show on this evening. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hello, Stephen. Bill from New York. Always great to talk to you, my friend.
Good to have you here, Bill, man. What's on your mind, brother? What's on your mind?
Look, I don't have a problem with Governor Abbott talking his nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, what difference does it make? And he's not really going out on that much of a limb, talking about, like, Milroe's not going to be as good as Bryce. Listen, I'll get a sex change before Milroe's as good as Bryce. You understand? He's a Heisman Trophy winner, for God's sake. You know what I mean? The kid is great, brilliant. Come on, what are we talking about here? Well, what a big prediction. Oh, well, way to go out on a limb. But look, in terms of Milroe, I don't know, Stephen. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. You know what I mean? Because, like, there's so much talent behind him. He's going to be under a lot of pressure. I don't even know about this Lonigan guy, whatever. I don't even know about him. But I'm talking about Holstein, and Simpson. These guys are good. You know what I mean? So they're going to be breathing down his neck. But what I think is I don't even want the team to have to rely on, like, Milroe running like they did last year with Bryce. Like you said, running for his life. You know, I'll say it again and again. I think that the problem, you know, what we're going to have if we're going to win is good lines. And that's what we need. We need a solid, good lines. I love what you said. I saw one of your videos where you said the center gained a bunch of pounds. He's over 300 pounds now.
He's over 300. I mean, and people were waiting, Bill, on Seth McLaughlin to get to that threshold. He's always been the undersized but scrappy, tough lineman at center, but now he's at 303 pounds. He's finally cracked it. That was huge. So now you have McLaughlin over 300, everybody else over 300. The average height of this line is 6'5", and these are all maulers.
And don't you love it? I mean, look, and on defense, like Will Anderson, like I guess statistically or whatever, even he didn't have like maybe as good a year as he did the year before. But I think I'm sure a lot of that was caused by the interior of the line. You know, if they could go off if they could go off DJ Dale and double and triple Will, you know, of course he's not going to have as good a year. And he's great. Let me tell you, that guy is great. You know, like everything. Like I say, I just want a little bit of a more traditional type game. You know, I don't want the quarterback to have to be running for his life. You know, and I think it's going to happen. So, you know, that's all. I'm not going to dominate the phone line here. You know, but once again, let me say, great to talk to you. Great show. Your staff is great. You know, and it's an honor to be a part of this show, Stephen.
Absolutely. My man Bill from New York right there calling in. And it comes down to, yes, both the offensive and defensive lines. I think the offensive line is going to be much better this upcoming season just due to you got guys, all of them maulers, all of them physical guys that want to get down, they want to get dirty, they want to rough people up. And that's the offensive line you're going to have. Defensive line, I think after Jaheim Otis, this is the year for Jamil Burroughs. He's got to do it. This is the year for Tim Smith. He's got to do it. Because behind those two, you got Damon Payne, you got Tim Keenan, you got Big James Smith. You got dudes that if Burroughs and Tim Smith can't get it done, get the other guys in there. Both of these two came in highly touted in the 2020 class. Smith and Burroughs, they've got to hit it this year on the interior of that defensive line. But we grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Man, what's up, Steven? This is Jay from Virginia by the way of New Orleans, man.
Jay, what's going on, man?
Man, look, Steven, it's been a long time. I've been wanting to get on the show and talk to you, my brother.
Go ahead.
But, man, I want to talk defense, all right, and a little bit offense. So, first off, let me start off with Governor Hot Wheels out there in Texas talking about Jalen Milroe. I think what people need to realize is, man, when Jalen Milroe came in, Texas A&M, he was playing Bryce Young's game, okay? Bill O'Brien is a man with an ego. Okay, Bill O'Brien was not changing that game plan to fit the skill set of Jalen Milroe. All right, he was trying to force Jalen Milroe to be somebody that Jalen Milroe is not, and that is a drop back, stay in the pocket, do what Bryce did, play backyard football, and just make something happen. Bryce is a magician. Jalen Milroe is an athlete. So I think what Tommy Rees needs to do is Tommy Rees needs to get back to that RPO offense, how we had with Tua, where he only has one or two reads. Either you're reading the defensive end or what have you, or you're handing the ball off on the RPO, or you keeping it, I mean, as an athlete. And whatever, I just heard the guy from New York talking about Dylan Larnigan and Eli Holstein and Ty Simpson, talking about, man, these dudes are good. These cats have not taken a meaningful snap in the SEC yet. We don't know if they're good. They're good in high school. And my thing is, man, jumping from high school to the SEC is a big leap. So that's that. Give Jalen Milroe his time. If he loses the battle in spring, hey, hats off to Ty Simpson or whoever wins. But I think right now it's a neck and neck contest because Tommy Rees is new. All right, so everybody gets a fair crack at the playbook. But as far as defense, I hope Kevin Steele gets back to mixing up those fronts where those defensive lines, especially our interior defensive linemen, all they have to do is eat up space, and those linebackers can play in space and go hunt. Everybody forget that's what made Reuben Foster so good. Reuben Foster didn't have to sit there and do all that reading like we were forcing Henry To'oTo'o to do. And I hear Marvin talk about, how soft Henry was very soft. But also Henry was very, very smart, which that's the reason why you had to play him at Mike. I heard Christian Miller talking about that's why we had him at the Mike linebacker, because he was smart. What we want now, we want guys who are smart, but we want guys who are fast and physical, get to the ball. Let that defensive line eat up space and let those linebackers go hunt. And we need to be physical on the back end. There's too many times, man, where I know that Jordan Battle was a headhunter. I know that DeMarco Hellams, who just got burnt like toast at the Senior Bowl, oh my God. Tank Dell from Houston tore his ankles up. But anyway, I knew, man, we had some hunters in that secondary. And we were back there looking scared. We were back there looking lost. We should have been putting hats on Cat. Tennessee, Ole Miss, all of that. And that's how Georgia is winning. Strong defense. And you don't even have to be a superstar offense. You're not going to tell me that Stetson Bennett is in the same conversation as Bryce Young. You put Bryce Young on that Georgia team, and they're in a stratosphere. So all we have to do is have competent quarterback play with good defensive football, and Alabama will be back, and Georgia will be back chasing us, not the other way around.
And Jay, to piggyback on what you just mentioned there, what Kevin Steele will also do, he will simplify everything in the playbook. I look at Pete Golding, and I say this about Pete. Pete Golding tried to be a professor of all things defense, and the playbook was too much. Scale that thing all the way down and just say, guys, fly around, knock people's heads off, and have fun with it. Because that's the one thing that Reuben Foster mentioned. He mentioned to us before, hey, Jeremy Pruitt didn't have no huge playbook. Kirby Smart didn't either. They scaled that thing back to about 3 or 4 plays. They ran them 3 to 4 plays to absolute perfection, and guys were able to run around clean and make plays out there. You scaled the playbook back.
Steven, I think 2 things happened with Pete Golding. Number one, Pete Golding didn't have those dogs on defense like we're used to. Yes, they had some stars behind their name, but I seen guys out there get burned like toast, man. And I also didn't see the effort. I watched and I listened to Marvin and them talk about, man, how the green mouthpiece is hanging from their helmets, and everybody wants to have that A hanging from their back flaps. Man, those old Bama teams, all you saw was that crimson jersey and them white pants. You didn't know who was who besides their number and the name on the back of their jersey. I think what we have to get back to is, and also Pete Golding, I think what he was trying to do was prove to Nick Saban that he was competent as a defensive coordinator. And what he did was he was too smart for his own self. Because everybody knows Nick Saban is a master at defense. But I think what Pete Golding was trying to do was prove that he belonged at Bama, prove that he was smart enough to handle the defense, prove that Nick Saban could trust him by adding more and more. And what he did was he added too much, and they're going to see the same thing at Ole Miss. Because anytime you have Will Anderson dropping off in the coverage like we did against Kansas State, I'm like, what in the absolute hell are we doing? So, simplify it down, man. Let them guys go hunt. Let that defensive line go hunt. And I think, man, Bama will be back. Everybody keeps talking about Georgia, but they forgetting that Georgia only beat us 1 time. All those other games, we was beating Georgia like a drum. And if it wasn't for Jamison Williams going down, and we would have had another natty against Georgia. So, man, look, we'll be just fine if we get back to playing Bama football.
Appreciate Jay calling in from New Orleans, giving us his thoughts right here on the show. 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this one. Eli, you're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's up, Stephen Smith? This is your boy Noah from Virginia. How you, my man?
Doing good, and yourself?
All right, I'm watching you right now. I hear you. That Texas governor shooting at Jalen Milroe. What's that mean?
I mean, Governor Abbott just talking, man. I mean, that's what governors do. They talk, so he just talking.
I hope we get a national championship next year, man. I hope we got it.
The coach is there, man. The talent's there. We gonna look to Bama's look to get this done. But I appreciate Noah there calling into the show, giving us his thoughts here on Crimson Tide football. Governor Abbott, I mean, it's the off season. Off season is trash talking season. I mean, I remember watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan said, "It's easy to talk when you got a lead, but talk trash when it's 0-0. You can talk trash when it's 0-0, or you behind. That's when you're doing it for real." Now, Governor Abbott making a statement. You know, he ain't no Bryce Young, but Jalen Milroe doesn't need to be. Just be an adequate passer, enough to make people respect you. They already respect your athletic ability. This offense can be really fun. Jalen Milroe entered as a starter, the things that he can bring here to the entire table here. But, yeah, shout out Crazy Jay with that $100 donation, dropping it in the bucket here. Dancing Steven on fire. We've met the goal of the $100 donations. Appreciate all of you making this your spot here to talk Crimson Tide football. Cool call topic right now, Eli. This one goes to Tua Tagovailoa, who got the 5th-year option on his rookie deal picked up by the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are behind Tua. They believe in him. Mike McDaniel has said, as the head coach, he's Tua the perfect fit for his system. Despite the concussions he suffered last year, Miami believes, hey, he's going to be healthy, straight on, moving forward. Tua doing judo and jiu-jitsu, 2 forms of mixed martial arts this offseason to help slide and fall and protect his body the proper way. Tua expected to pocket a little over $23 million, $23.4 million for the 2024 season. So Miami picking up that 5th-year option on Tua Tagovailoa's deal. Hopefully, the young man, former Alabama quarterback, can just remain healthy and be more available on the football field. But we take our break here, folks. We'll touch that down because when we get back, does Alabama have that number 1 wide receiver? Who's that guy that becomes the alpha male in that room? Number 1 target at wide receiver. We'll talk about it after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full-year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got 2 words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're rocking and rolling in here on a Friday, getting that weekend started off for you correctly. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Continue tapping the like button. Run those likes up, give us that thumbs up right there. Also hitting that subscribe button. Making this your place, your platform, your area, your arena to talk Alabama football. Appreciate you guys for all the donations being put in here to the show. But, Eli, Alabama, a lot of talent at wide receiver, but doesn't have the number 1 guy. Doesn't have the alpha male, alpha dog in the room. The primary option at that wide receiver position. This is a big year for Holman Wiggins, wide receivers coach. He's got to develop a number 1 guy in this room because that didn't happen last year. You thought it would be Jermaine Burton coming over from Georgia. We didn't see him really play his best ball to the back half of last year. We thought it would be Ja'Cory Brooks, and he showed flashes, but not all the consistency we needed. And then, the young guys stepped up. I mean, Isaiah Bond stepped up. Kobe Prentice stepped up. Kendrick Law had a good year, popped off back part of the year. But Alabama just didn't have that one guy you point to and say, that's him. That's the guy. We feed him. We go to him. We get on that guy's back. That guy's going to catch everything. It wasn't like Julio Jones. Julio's going to catch everything. Throw it to Julio. It wasn't like throw it to Amari Cooper. He runs the smoothest routes. He's going to get everything. It wasn't like Calvin Ridley. That guy's going to juke you out your pants. Get him. It wasn't like, a Jerry Jeudy or Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle, Jamison Williams, John Mechie. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that for Alabama this past season. So for Holman Wiggins, got to develop primary receiver out of this group this upcoming season. And starting off with Jermaine Burton, he's good, but I don't think he's a 1. I think he's a good compliment. He's a 2 on a good team, maybe even a 3. Not a 1. You saw at Georgia he wasn't a 1. At Georgia, I don't even think he was a 2. He was a 3 at Georgia. 2 to 3. He's not a 1 at Alabama, and that's okay. You don't have to be a 1. Be a good compliment. When the number 1 guy's out open, hey, make yourself available, make the catch, get up and down the field. Be a good compliment. I think Burton's a compliment. He's not a 1. Ja'Cory Brooks flashes. He's got potential to be a 1. I like the competitor he is. I like the dog mentality he shows. His desire to want to be on the field. This is the same Ja'Cory Brooks as a freshman in 2021 caught the game-tying touchdown late against Auburn in the Iron Bowl. As a freshman, Ja'Cory Brooks, 4 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown against Cincinnati in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. So there's potential for him to be a number 1 guy. Showed flashes last year, but needs more consistency. A number 1 receiver, you got to be consistent. Like, you can't drop passes. I remember in 2020, Devontae Smith didn't drop a ball. It seemed like he didn't drop a ball. I mean, Julio Jones rarely dropped the pass. Amari Cooper, you rarely saw the ball hit the ground. Same thing with Calvin Ridley. I mean, even with Kevin Norwood wasn't a 1, but Norwood never dropped the pass. Jamison Williams, that ball didn't hit the turf. Kind of the same thing with John Mechie. So to be a number 1, your hands have got to be like All-State. You're in good hands. Your hands got to be like Nationwide. I'm on your side, baby. Yeah, you got to have some hands. Your hands have got to be insured. For real. So, Ja'Cory Brooks, potential. Got to have that consistency. I look at these 2 guys I'm about to bring up here. These 2, I think, can be the number 1 guy. Kobe Prentice, Isaiah Bond. Between one of these 2. Prentice is a straight dog. He's a dog. He goes out there and gets it. Kobe Prentice goes out there. He goes and gets it. He's also put on weight this offseason. Isaiah Bond has put on weight also. He can go out there and go get it. Leap up like a pogo stick and make plays. Both of these 2 should have been playing more last year. They should have. You got both guys have speed. Both guys can burn. I think Isaiah Bond's more so of your deep threat variety, number 1. Kobe Prentice, kind of more of your compact all-around, number 1. So he's got speed to burn too. One of these 2 is your number 1. I think Burton's your 2 or 3. If not your 2, your 3. Ja'Cory Brooks will be your 2. But one of these 2 is your 1. I think one of these 2 is your 1. I think Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, whoever wins this out, can build that rapport between Bond or Prentice. Isaiah Bond put out on Twitter today that Alabama nearing the end of the fourth quarter program, and he's talking about, hey, I'm getting ready for a big spring, and I'm putting some work in. That comes from Isaiah Bond. So one of these two on screen between Bond and Prentice should be the one. Ja'Cory Brooks, the two. I think he's more consistent than Burton. Burton, you're three. I can see it like that. Burton, you're three. And then you roll with that. And then you interchange how you want to interchange. But between Prentice and Bond, one of these two should be your number one guy. But we're going to go to a break right now, folks. Don't touch that dial. Alabama's also got other talents that receives on the roster. We look at Malik Benson coming in here, the JUCO, Jaron Hamilton coming in here. You got a lot of guys. Jalen Hale coming in here. A lot of receivers in this room. But I think between Bond and Prentice, one of those two is going to be your number one guy. But we take this break here, folks. When we get back, we go to the phone lines. We get your thoughts on this. You're an Alabama fan. You know about this football team. This is your team. If you had to pick the number one receiver out of this whole group, who would you trust? Who would you have? We'll get to you after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, here we go. We're rocking and rolling in here to the action in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine here on a Friday. Got the man, Eli Walker, in the production studio, and we go to the phone lines right now to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Now I'm going to call in 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Mike from Kentucky, man. What's going on, brother?
Doing good, man. And yourself, Mike? How are you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm doing fine. Top receiver, huh?
Top receiver,
you
man.
Know, I totally get what you say, about Bond might be the guy, but to me, he's the guy that gets over the top for the big play. And I just don't see the offense going that way this year if Milroe gets the job. I mean, ever since Ja'Cory made that game-saving catch against Auburn, it's hard for me not to like him, man. I mean, it is.
I mean, because I love the competitor, I do, but then there were moments last year I'm like, I mean, he did it in that Iron Bowl,
and he did it against A&M too. He made a clutch catch or two against A&M last year too. I mean, if he can find a little bit more consistency, I think he's the guy. I think he's all around. Got the measurables, got the frame, and on an RPO, and across in on the, across the middle behind the linebackers. I think he can go up and get it.
Okay, so Mike, if you have Brooks as one, who would be two for you?
I'd say Bond would be two. More of a Waddle. When you get on Ja'Cory too much, he will burn you bad. To me, he reminds me of Waddle a little bit. With his breakaway speed, he's got a tremendous burst, but I don't think he's as slippery as Waddle was. I mean, Waddle was elusive. We need another punt returner like that cat.
So you would have Brooks, Bond, and I guess would your three be Burton or Prentice?
Prentice. I'm tell you the truth, I don't even care if Burton comes back this year.
So
liked him. He was hyped up to be, something special, and man, he dropped more balls than Jacory.
So we got Brooks, Bond, Prentice. I can roll with that, Mike. I can roll with that.
All right, brother. I'm on just weighing in my 2 cents, man. Roll dadgum tide to everybody.
Appreciate Mike from Kentucky calling in right there. So he's got Brooks, Bond, Prentice. I can get down with that. I can get down with those three as your main three. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Well, Steve, what's happening, man? What's up, Alabama Nation? Uncle Charles, man.
He's here. Yes, Uncle Charles is here, baby.
Man, what's happening, man? Man, grits and gravy. I ain't too lazy, man. I'm just living life, man. What's happening?
Man, hey, same with me, man. Cannot complain here. Why would you? We got Uncle Charles in the building.
Yeah, man. And I'm all up in there, too. Let me tell you something, man. Everybody's talking about who should start. Let me tell you something. The right guy should start is the one in that locker room sharpening his teeth. And let me tell you something. If you see him in there with some thread sharpening his teeth with a knife, a butter knife, and some thread, that's the one should start right there. And we need an offensive lineman. Every time he's chewing food, before he swallows the food, he's shoving some more in his mouth. That's who should start. Let me explain something to you, man. It really makes no difference who we start. Nick Saban is finna make a run. An undefeated season. I ain't even been looking at it. I don't need to because I know what's going to happen. Because you just don't keep a good man down. Let me explain something to you, man. When I was a little boy, we used to play backyard football. It was 5-on-5. Well, one of the little boys on our team was named Peanut. And Peanut was the smallest one. And they threw the ball off. We up the yard, blocking everything. And we noticed he ain't run. Well, we look back. The ball done knocked him out. Now, you know good doggone well if you're supposed to catch the ball with your hand instead of your forehead. And that's why he was knocked out. And another thing, too, I know the laws and the laws of sports. I know what can be done in sports, and I know how you can go far in your career. Let me explain something to you. When somebody hits you and you do a number one or a number two, you have been hit. But I can tell you this, they'd rather hit you with a number one than a number two. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Alabama going to roll this year. See, you can't just keep talking about Nick Saban. Oh, he don't lost it. Oh, he lost some hair on the top of his head. Well, he started doing that 2 years ago. What are you talking about? Leave Nick Saban boss spot alone. Because now you're finna make him angry. I done told you about Nick Saban. He gonna come out there A-Day with that pink blazer on, with them Stacey Adams on, with his swag on 250. And he gonna be out there and tell you something. He gonna tap some people up. And that's all you need to know. Roll Tide, roll. We ain't going nowhere. We just taking a break. And that's all I got to say, player. Appreciate you.
Uncle Charles calling in here back in the building. You love it when you can start your weekend with an Uncle Charles call. Now we got to check on Peanut, though. I hope Peanut didn't got up, though. I mean, Peanut reminded me a little bit. I mean, if the ball came to me the wrong way and got me in the head, I would probably be knocked out, too. So everybody check on Peanut, man. Make sure Peanut all right out there. The ball wasn't trying to hit him. I hope the ball wasn't trying to hit him. But anyway, 205-448-1358, number to call in. Let your voice be heard. 205-448-1358 right here on the show. Call topic now turns to Bryce Young. Eli, I know you saw this too, but for those of you who did not see this, a blockbuster trade, not the video store Blockbuster, but a blockbuster trade happened today. The Chicago Bears have traded the number one overall pick. We all knew it was going to happen. I was telling you it was going to happen. Ryan Poles was going to trade the number one pick, but he's traded the number one pick to the Carolina Panthers. So the Panthers gave up. The Panthers gave up 2 first-round picks. They gave up a first-round pick this year, a first-round pick next year. They gave up 2 second-round picks, one this year, one in 2020. Well, they have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and wide receiver DJ Moore to get to the number one overall pick right here. So, will the Panthers take Bryce Young as the number one overall pick? That's going to be interesting. Frank Wright's the head coach of the Panthers. This could end up being C.J. Stroud. However, this could end up being Bryce Young. I mean, Bryce Young from California, warm weather. He would go to the Carolina Panthers, Southeast, warm weather to an extent. I mean, NFC South, he would be the most talented quarterback in that division just walking in there. You think? You would be, I mean, you got Derek Carr of the Saints, but Bryce Young way more talented than Derek Carr. So Bryce would walk into a division where he's the most gifted, the most talented quarterback in that division. But do the Panthers pull the card? Do they make this move? That's going to be fun to watch that. But they won the sweepstakes of getting the number 1 overall pick from the Bears. We'll see how they put it in play. But we'll take our final break here, folks. When we get back, we wrap things up. We tidy up loose ends. Discussing Coach Saban defending his quarterback Bryce Young on Stephen A. Smith's No Mercy podcast about Bryce Young's height. Nick Saban had some words to say about that. We'll get to it after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, Bama Nation, definitely appreciate all of you for all the calls, all the chats, all the donations, you making this show, in my own words, with yours truly, Stephen Smith, the hottest show out here in these streets. All the support right there. Thanks to all of you. My man Eli Walker in the production studio. Getting into this little discussion right here. So, Coach Saban decided to, hey, let me defend my quarterback here that started for me 2 seasons. Everybody jumping on his height ordeal. Let me go ahead and defend my guy. Didn't have to fabricate his height, but let me go ahead and defend my guy right quick. So, Coach Saban was on the No Mercy podcast, Stephen A. Smith, this week. And, the conversation has been, Bryce is only 5'10" and 1/8 of an inch, 204 pounds, small. Is he going to transition to the NFL? Is he going to be durable in the NFL? Is his body going to hold up? He's a smaller frame guy. This is not good right here. Nick Saban basically says this. He's like, look, people, Bryce Young is a point guard playing football. Literally highly intelligent, highly smart, can see the field, knows who he's supposed to throw to. With his style of play, he's able to create his own throwing lanes to get guys the ball. He's a elite playmaker in every sense of the word. Nick Saban basically said, look, height's not a big deal. Height's not a big deal. Height is not the main concern. He was like, we've seen guys that come through here 6'4", 6'5", 220 plus pounds, can't complete a pass. 220 plus pounds, they don't make it. They don't transition to the NFL. And we've seen guys that are big, tall, physical, not transition to the NFL. I mean, and I've named some before, whether it was Vince Young, unfortunately, didn't have a long career. Whether it was, guys like Ryan Leaf who didn't pan out. Guys like Jamarcus Russell who didn't pan out. Brock Osweiler who didn't pan out. Several guys that were 6'5 plus did not pan out in the league. Didn't do it. Here's Bryce Young, who did it at the highest level of the SEC, where you're playing up against defenses that want to take you out, defensive coordinators that want to scheme up ways to ruin your career, And Bryce Young, through 2 years as an SEC quarterback starting for Alabama, 8,200 passing yards, 79 touchdown passes, won a Heisman Trophy. At 5'10", won the Heisman. Giving everybody the business at 5'10". Like, barely taller than Nick Saban. At 5'10", won the Heisman. And, I mean, the guy's good. The guy is just good. Okay? And I understand so many people come up with conversations of, why should I not take a kid? Why should I not draft the quarterback? Why should I not pick up this young athlete? Why should I not do it? Well, for the team that decides to pass up on Bryce Young, you're passing up generational talent here. And I know people use that word loosely, but Bryce Young is that kind of talent. I mean, if you think about it, if he had slightly better offensive coordinator, 2-time national championship starting quarterback. I mean, Bill O'Brien, decent, I guess, but Bryce Young, better overall offensive play caller. We're talking 2-time national championship starting quarterback. We're possibly talking Bryce Young winning back-to-back Heisman trophies. That's what we're talking about. But Nick Saban, setting the record straight, people, height is not going to be an issue with Bryce Young. Not going to be an issue. I'm looking forward to seeing which team takes it. Whether it's Houston, Carolina, Indianapolis. God, if the Atlanta Falcons just do the right thing and trade up. I mean, I don't know. But draft day, that's going to be a good day right there. Bryce Young will throw it pro day for Bama, which will be on March 23rd. So, Coach Saban, setting it straight. Height's not going to be a big deal. But as always, people, you want the best news, notes, information, conversation right here. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll try to be back on Monday, continuing the conversation that is Bama football. Remember, Tide fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. You can also get, if you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go. TouchdownAlabama.com. You click join. Become a member and or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. But appreciate all of you, the Bama faithful, for all the phone calls, donations, likes on the show, support, love, just doing what you do. Making this your place to talk Bama football. Gotta shout out my man Eli Walker in the production studio, handling this thing as always. Until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, you're in time for spring break off from school, but continue doing the good thing, right thing, fun thing, smart thing, legitimate thing to not be bored there. Get yourselves those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Enjoy the SEC basketball tournament. Hopefully Alabama can win it all again. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. You've been listening to In My Own Words.